Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And yes, it's a great day to be with all of our KSL friends at Osmond Designs. We bring beauty, comfort, and elevated living into homes all across Utah. Today's conversation is exactly about that: homes, markets, and the decisions shaping your future. Today, we're joined by one of Utah's most respected real estate experts, Dan Evans with Summit Realty. He's a regular on KSL. Welcome back, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be back.
So much fun. And just so you know, pre-air, we spent about a half hour just talking and laughing in this studio with Dan. He is so up to speed on what's going on in the community and in the market. So it's always fun. But if you've been wondering if right now is the right time to buy, sell, or invest, this is the show that you can't afford to miss. Dan, what's going on in the market?
We've got so much going on, and thanks for having me, by the way. Always fun to talk. It's been an interesting market this year, and it's always an interesting market. At any given time, someone will say, how's the market? And my stock answer is great, because it's great for someone always. But depending on who you are, buyer or seller, it can be great, it can be bad, it can be competitive, it can be a ghost town, it can be anything, and it just depends on where you are. But right now, what we see across the board is if your home is well taken care of and it's priced well, you have a lot of demand. There are a lot of eyeballs out there.
So, Dan, I follow you on Instagram. You are always posting brand new listings like, hey, this just sold. Hey, this is brand new. Where are the hottest areas right now?
The hottest areas, so if we look at just different price ranges, if you're looking in, say, a starter home price point, or say, moving up, you're looking at Lehigh. Lehigh's a really hot market. Southern Utah County, really hot market, where the majority of the building is going on. Anywhere where there's land, there's a lot going on. I've mentioned to you guys off air that even in Magna right now, there is quite a bit going on, and there are opportunities everywhere there, because people were buying homes that maybe they shouldn't have bought, but there are values out there. Now, on the high-end side, you have, in this area, the east side of the valley, Holiday, Sandy, Draper, Alpine, Highland, and then up in the Wasatch back, Camas is an emerging market. We just listed a lovely $5.5 million home up there. It's everywhere you want to be. There's so much going on.
Well, when you say it's a hot market, are you talking about homes are moving, more homes are going onto the market, prices are escalating? What does hot mean?
Yes, except for the prices escalating. So you have homes coming on the market where it was a little bit of a slow build-up inventory-wise for people this year. And what we saw is for the second straight year, and this is not a political statement, it's just simply a statement, is that there was some form of major national news that threw a little bit of a wrench in, I'd say, consumer sentiment. Last year, it was the tariffs. This year, the Iran war has caused a little bit of hesitation in people's buying or spending habits.
And both events were in April, yep. Right? And that's the start of spring season in the real estate business. Did that hurt?
It sure did. Well, what it did is it typically And it's funny is when national news happens, and I've seen it over my 20 years, I've seen a few different national events where I could tangibly say I saw something happen. And what people often do is they tend to freeze. So they don't do anything. They hold on to money. They pull back commitments that they thought they'd have because they're just uncertain of what the future looks like.
Okay, so you have these events that happen. The war. How long's it been going? Is it 6 weeks now? 7 weeks? Something like that. Now, 7 weeks later, was that moment when everybody froze an opportunity?
It is, and it's hard to do it. You hear in stocks, and I follow a lot of financial blogs and Twitter feeds and everything, and you'll hear people say buy the dip. But by and large, and people do buy the dip, but then you see that things go in streaks. So like the general stock market went down for a while, and it wasn't necessarily metric based on some of the companies that went down. Like we have NVIDIA stock, and that stock tanked even though they were showing record revenues and record profits for like 8 straight quarters or 10 straight quarters. And it's the same with real estate is when there's bad national news, people tend to just say, is the future uncertain? And that's what happens is most purchases are emotional purchases.
Don't you feel like in Utah, demand doesn't disappear? It just pauses a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. We're still a positive migration state. So people are still moving in. You have people coming from California, Texas, Nevada, Seattle area. We have a huge migration. Some of that is the LDS Church is a hub for a lot of people. And a lot of people, their kids come to the University of Utah or BYU, and they tend to stay here. And so then the parents coming from an out of state want to be here in the state.
What would you say the forecast is for this summer? We're going into one of the busiest times where people put their homes up for sale and they buy homes.
If the news remains the same, which we've learned the last couple of years, who knows? It should be a very healthy market. Interest rates tend to follow oil prices. So, and there's a whole nuance to it, and anyone listening that knows it better, we can. But just a simple thing is that if oil prices go up, interest rates go up. So interest rates were projected to be lower this year. At the beginning of the year, there were a lot of people bullish on low rates. They were lower for a period. Then oil prices spiked, and now we're seeing rates that are a little bit higher. They've come down a teeny bit, but I think you're going to see largely a similar market than what we've seen the last couple of years. If you see something that you want, you need to go after it. And if it's priced well and you like it, other people will like it.
What are the selling strategies in this changing market? What tips do you have for a seller right now?
For a seller right now, your best thing you can do is hire a good agent that at least will speak their mind. And what you need to do is you need to have projects that are outstanding, done and finished so that someone can come in. Or if you don't want to do projects, which I'm not a project person, you need to effectively pay the seller to do, or to pay the buyer to do those projects. And that means that you need to discount your home slightly. But people are very, very sensitive to the money outside of their pocket, outside of just the purchase price.
So Utah is outperforming national averages in all of the news. Why do you think that is?
Utah, it's been interesting. The last handful of years, I think, especially since COVID, a lot of the states that had huge migrations, so we'll say Texas, Florida, or even Arizona, had huge migrations, have seen large pullback in their real estate markets. Like the Austin, Texas market, the inventory is at an all-time high in Austin, Texas. We aren't even close to our all-time high. Is Utah, despite maybe how a lot of us feel about the winter temperatures, offers you space, you have access to recreation, you have a lot of fun things to do, and it's just a great place to live.
You know, when you talk to real estate people, it might be hard to connect with this. But for a different story completely, I was looking up the Utah median family income. And I don't know if it was a burp from Gemini, but it says the median family income in this state is now $98,000, which is about $21,000 more than the national average, which just blew my mind. Are we really that hot?
We're that hot. I mean, we used to be, we would hear people that would come from California and they would say,
oh, it's so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. We're the discount option. And now we're kind of we're like a borderline California price-wise, but we are a destination spot. And some people bemoan the fact that means that things are more crowded, or that we have more traffic. But relatively speaking, it's still so easy to live here and navigate your life day to day here.
Well, and even if interest rates are a little bit higher than what you're comfortable with and you're standing on the sidelines, oftentimes if you have a great real estate agent, someone like Dan Evans with Summit Realty, you can marry the home, date the rate, but only if the fundamentals make sense. So what that means is buy the home you want at a $50,000, $100,000 discount and then refinance later, right?
Exactly. You have the opportunity to do that. And also, it's just the new normal of our country now is you have higher rates, prices are higher. It's inflation in action. And at the same time, if you can come here, you can have a nice lifestyle, you can navigate things, you're close to everything. And it offers you, if you have a family, you have tons of support for kids. If you don't have a family, there's tons to do. It's a great place to live, and that's why people come here.
Okay, it's a great time to give a shout out to Central Bank. If you need money, please contact Central Bank. We want to give a special thanks to them being our incredible sponsor. At the heart of every great home is a strong financial foundation, and that's exactly what Central Bank provides. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading to your dream home, or investing in your future, their team is committed to guiding you every step of the way with integrity, expertise, and personalized care. Thank you, Central Bank. It's not just about loans. It's about building communities, creating opportunities, and helping families truly thrive. We're proud to be partners with Central Bank right here on the KSL Real Estate Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. We're glad you're listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are, and they are beautiful, and it's a beautiful day, so it's a great time to come and refresh your home. If you are in the Lehigh or the Orem areas, please stop by our stores. We have 2 locations with over 20,000 square feet each of in-stock merchandise. Plus, we have a 10,000 square foot warehouse. So bring your truck and trailer. Come check that out. And here's a little secret of the week. We just received the Utah Valley Parade of Homes tickets. No one else is selling them besides us and Central Bank. They're discount tickets, and they're not available anywhere else, but they do make really great Mother's Day gifts. You get the 2 tickets, you get a bag and a lanyard and all the good things. You'll be a hero for Mother's Day, and you know, who doesn't love that? So come check that out. Coming up next, we're going to hear the real story from Dan Evans with Summit Realty. Dan, you know, it's so hard to pick the right real estate agent. What happens when you don't pick the right one and you're stuck? You know, how to hire a great one, and then how to fire a bad one. Let's go ahead and start with that.
Yeah, we're getting in the weeds here for the real estate nerds, because this is my day-to-day life right here, is hiring an agent in today's climate is still largely similar to how people decide on it, say 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Is you have, just candidly, real estate's an industry that has a very low bar for entry. You have to basically take some training and then pass a test, and you're off and running. And a wonderful legal liability for everyone that you work with for a while, because you don't have any experience. So in our market, what I often see is I'll see competition for myself when I interview. Like the other day, I met with a seller. They called me up because a neighbor recommended me. They had already interviewed 6 other agents before they called me. That's, we'll call it conservatively, 6 hours, maybe 10 hours of hearing agents talk about themselves to sell their home in Lehigh. So I asked them, I said, so how did you come across all these agents? And they had a combination of, we had some referrals from friends, family member, and then internet. So they looked on Zillow, they asked chat what chat had to say, and they interviewed all these agents. And at the end of the day, I said, okay, well, what are you looking for? Like, who do you want to hire? How are you going to pick the agent you hire? Because to me, if someone interviews 6 people, that may not be a worthwhile appointment to go on, because that's a lot of people. And he said, we want someone who has good sales history in our area, knows how to market a home, has a good team, and has a strategy in place.
All right, those are the right questions, right?
Yeah. And I don't know how he got through 6 agents and still had those questions unanswered. So
that's alarming.
Yeah. But his neighbor had referred me. So we sat down and met with him. And ahead of the appointment, I had asked him a bunch of pre-qualifying questions to make sure I was prepared for it. Sent him our track record. We sat down and we met. And as we sat down, he said, just so you know, I've already eliminated everybody except for you and this one other agent. I'm like, cool. I figured as much. And when we started talking, I said, okay, how are you going to choose between me and her? And he just said, I need to see what your track record is here in this neighborhood and then what you'll do to sell our home. Asked me a bunch of very specific questions. Time on market, anticipated price, listing price to sold price for my track record. And really what came down to at the end of the day is that we had a plan in place. And even though, and we also sell quite a few homes, but it came down to we had a plan in place, we had a track record, but the thing that weighed the most heavily was his neighbor's referral, which was a little bit interesting because that both has helped me in my career and it's also hurt me in my career when you're going up against a neighbor referral. And so even in today's information age, sometimes it's just affinity and who do you know that had a good experience with someone else.
I think that says everything about you, Dan, and your team and your processes and your systems, because every time I talk to you, it's easy to hear people say, oh, I know Dan. And I feel like Dan Evans knows everyone. You always said, oh, I helped this person here, and then I sold their house and they bought a house here. And, you know, this other agent listed a home that I sold them originally, but then guess what? I brought the buyer. So, you know, at the end of the day, Dan wins again. And I hear all these really cool stories about you're just connected. And I think part of that, real estate is a very, you know, who knows who industry. And even if a home isn't listed, like you're the hustler that said to me one day, oh, you know, you're looking in this neighborhood. Well, I know someone that would sell and it wasn't even on the market. And I brought my sister and her husband and they looked at the home and, you know, just knowing people, years and years of being in the business helps so much. So how do you fire a bad real estate?
This I'm taking notes
one
on.
is a hot topic.
Well, and so just to finish up the other topic of hiring is, so I would say as if someone who's listening is looking to hire someone, I have both been helped by neighbor referrals and I've been hurt by neighbor referrals because I wasn't the person they referred. I might have contacted them out of the blue or they might have responded to an ad. But an agent who knows the inventory better than you know your own neighborhood is who you should hire almost every single time. And I've noticed that for me, that has been an accelerator for me is if I know what I'm talking about in your neighborhood and I've seen the houses and I know how to talk about the area, that's who you want to hire. You're hiring someone to advocate for your home and for its price and for the appeal of the neighborhood.
You know, we're going to be taking a break in a moment. I don't think we have time to get into how to fire an agent, but you do it with a tweet, right?
Yeah, as publicly as possible and shame them. So we'll give a little cliffhanger here. So firing an agent is a different thing. So oftentimes humans in general are not great decision makers, just across the board. I could list 1,000 of my decisions that have not been great. So what happens if you hire the wrong person and you're like, oh crap, we have a home to sell and we still need to get it sold?
For sure. Okay. Buyers are becoming much more selective, Dan. I think that's kind of the foundation there. Buyers want a home that is finished. They want it elevated and move-in ready. They need a great real estate agent to help them market it. Design matters more than ever, and picking the right real estate agent matters more than ever. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, here with Dan Evans, Summit Realty. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And it's beautiful outside. It's beautiful at Osmond Designs. All of the spring design and trends are, on display, and it's a lot of fun. Today's conversation is one of the most important we've had all year. If you're just joining us, we talked about how to hire the right real estate agent. And now, Dan, let's spend just a quick moment and talk about how to fire a bad real estate agent when you're in a contract.
Okay, so you're in a contract. You hired the wrong agent to either help you buy a house or sell a house. So it starts out first with how you hire. So on a buyer's side, oftentimes agents will think, hey, if I'm putting in a ton of work, if we look at a lot of houses, I'm being good. What we found over the years is that the more houses you show a buyer, the lower their confidence is in you as a professional. You shouldn't have to look at 45 houses. And candidly, if you are looking at 45 houses, either you're not serious or there's a total breakdown of communication. So when you hire an agent, whether it's a seller's side or a buyer's side, it's good to have a clear upfront conversation about what they're going to do in that process, how they're going to communicate to you, and then guardrails that if they don't fulfill that, then you have an ability to walk out of that contract.
Absolutely. Okay, right now, my oldest daughter has a home. It's a townhome in the Murray area. And they had a cute little grandma come through and she said, well, there's too many stairs. And we're like, well, of course there are. It's a townhome. Like, you just didn't do your research. But they had spent all this time, and again, it's the real estate agent's fault because she should have known that was not going to be the right fit for this home. But I think because of where the market's going right now, sellers need strategy and not luck. So let's talk a little bit about AI changing subjects. It is a hot topic in the news. Give us your feedback on that.
So AI is obviously has been huge in the news, and it's an evergreen topic, and it's going to be continuing to dominate things. So in the AI era and how it relates to real estate. So on the real estate agent front, we call ourselves AI empowered agents, where oftentimes we'll run our strategies on a certain house through chat or in our case, Claude, not an advertisement, but just what we do. And see if our strategy lines up with what that house is and what the internet basically says. So having that as a good way to go. And then also second is that oftentimes we can role play conversations with chat or with Claude as far as having a high leverage negotiation conversation or even talking with other agents about a house.
Wait a minute. Are you doing a make-believe negotiation with the AI?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, candidly, over my 20 years, I have done thousands of hours of fake conversations with people just called practice and role play. Like most days, I'm 30 to 40 minutes of practice a day.
All right, let me flip the script for just a moment because I've been noodling a lot. I famously did one of my minutes of news. I had ChatGPT write it for me in my voice because presumably it knows my voice. And it was an unmitigated disaster. And I got to do another minute the next day about how lame this was. So, I have a lot of experience at this point. Couldn't I, as the homeowner selling or as a person looking to buy, say, ChatGPT, could you kind of look at the MLS and tell me which houses meet my parameter of this, this, and this? And I always wanted a veranda and blah, 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 blah. And it says, ka-ching, this is the house you want and here's what you should pay.
Exactly. And that's the theory, right? And what you find is, and this is why even in 2026, someone like me is still necessary and a huge benefit, is emotion plays such a factor in all of this. And so I can't tell you how many times I have had someone tell me, here is exactly what I want. And then what we end up buying is not what they said initially. Our job, and this is where engaging with an AI helps concurrently, is our job is to ask a series of questions that actually suss out what you really want. We all say what we want, but we don't want what we want.
It's so true. Do you think that's one of the biggest mistakes that buyers are making? Is they're just telling their real estate agent that they want one thing, and then you show them a bunch of homes, and that's just like you had mentioned. It's not anything like what they thought that they wanted to begin with.
Yeah, well, and it goes back to what we were talking about, where experience matters quite a bit, and knowing your inventory matters. Is you can say, hey, I want a townhome. And then at the end of the day, maybe a townhome doesn't work for 5 different reasons. My job is to simply ask you enough questions with the knowledge and the nuance of what I know out there to where we say, hey, it may be better that you actually get like a home in Sugar House versus a townhome in Midvale. And so often people will consult AI before they reach out to us. Frequently people will go to Chat or Claude or Gemini and say, hey, what agent should I use? And that becomes just advertising at that point. It's the same as Zillow, where it just says whoever's paying the most money gets in there.
Okay, so when there's a recommendation about an agent, that's because they did their homework, kind of like search engine optimization. It's AI optimization, whether you spend money on it or do noodling in the background to make your name come up first.
Well, yeah, and we're currently in the middle of that. It's a multi-month project for us. I wish AI could make it faster, but I mean, for us, they coach us on everything. Every platform has to be identical. All of our stuff has to be the same. We have to contribute a certain amount of content a month. So then you're just playing a game to get people to pull your name up.
So that means whoever's best at optimization is going to come up first when you ask the question, who should my real estate agent be? It's going to go, ding, the one who paid us the most money.
Exactly. You're paying the best at computer to hire to do your job. And so for us with AI, where we see it interact is when people select an agent. And I would go back to what I discussed earlier, which is you need to find the person that knows the most about the area and that actually knows their market and has a plan in place. And AI doesn't necessarily suss that out, but it is a helpful way to weed out people who aren't experienced.
I'll bet you when you ask AI to find you a house, it'll find you homes that have already been sold.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
It is, but it'll find you active homes. But again, it would be an interaction. So if someone's really good at prompts, AI might help you find the right place. But the challenge is that you miss a few things with it. So AI is a helpful assistant, and then you have like human judgment and other things that help out. And there are people that would argue that human judgment's irrelevant with AI and blah, blah, blah. But what I'd say is that it still matters who you hire and what they're doing.
So what you're saying, Dan, is not only do you have to be a real estate expert, but you also have to be a tech nerd to be a real estate agent for someone, right?
Yeah, or need to have a tech nerd working for you. So AI is very helpful. And what I would suggest with people with AI is not necessarily who should I hire, but what has been great, and I've actually seen this more lately, is they'll interview a few agents and then say, hey, based on these agents and their plans, who's the best fit and who has the best track record. I don't mind that at all. Because again, AI, with our interaction with AI, it's all about how wise are your prompts. And so you have to be thoughtful about the prompts that you use. So that would be one is based on these metrics, which agent is the best agent.
For sure. And then as a buyer, you just need, once you find the right agent, you need to know what you want in a home. Is there a specific location that you need to be in? Are there physical limitations for specific homes? Maybe you can't do a 2-story because the master bedroom is on the second floor. It needs to be a main floor. Just being able to communicate that to your agent, because the best agent cannot read your mind. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, it's working with buyers is a lot like working with AI, where you have to have the right prompts or you don't get the right information. Frequently, people will say, hey, we noticed that this certain metric of a home isn't in your search. Why is it not? And then you'll say, well, you said you didn't want over an acre. And then they'll buy something that's 1.04 acres. So it's being wise enough to know. And we often have chat as a companion with a lot of our buyers, where they'll say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And what it is whatever they told chat to think. Or often we'll have buyers who are not represented by agents that will say, hey, I have an attorney that I'm working with on this transaction. And that attorney is Chat, Claude, Gemini, whoever. And so often AI, again, is essential in a lot of our lives now, but it still doesn't replace a lot of your critical thinking and prompts that you need to do.
So, Dan, I go to the doctor, right? This happened. And, typical appointment. I said, symptom. And he said, well, let's see. And he plugged it all into ChatGPT to spit out. Now, see, you don't like that, do you? I kind of felt reassured that he was considering every possibility, but you're thinking you want the doctor with expertise. And so the question is, when it comes to real estate, might people be bothered that you're using AI to get the job done?
So my initial reaction was no.
We're both groaning over here.
But then the more
I did too, but then I thought about it.
But then I think about all my friends who are doctors, and 5 years ago, they're like, I hate WebMD because people are always WebMDing me all the time.
They come in, I have cancer automatically because WebMD said so.
Yeah, and now it's probably AI. And so my guess is, and I could be wrong, I'd love to hear from your doctor, is that was a presentation for you to trust his advice. And so I think that doctor was a great salesperson.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, so what mistakes are sellers making in today's market regarding AI?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say that oftentimes what I see is, and this specifically goes to luxury homes, is you see people will AI a staged area of their house. And there are stagers out there that help get homes ready to sell. And the AI staging is interesting. And they'll say, hey, why can't we just use this picture, this staged picture in our listing? And I'm like, it looks like a cartoon. That's why.
It's because it looks horrible.
Yeah, it looks like, it looks like I did it myself. So that's one. And then second is, and this is the most important, is I mentioned that AI often will practice conversation and negotiation, is oftentimes sellers will, in their mind, whatever their bottom line is on the home, they'll run it through, again, an AI tool, and they'll base it just on that AI tool. So I think oftentimes we're defaulting our thinking to AI rather than just simply looking at what's the most important for you.
For sure. And great design does sell faster and for more money. If you're selling, design matters. And if you're buying, we can help you transform a home into something that is truly yours. Please visit us at Orem, and Lehigh Osmond Designs will help you fall in love with your space. Today's guest is Dan Evans, Summit Realty. Dan, how do people find you?
The easiest way is my phone number is 801-372-3512. And I'll do that one more time, 801-372-3512. You can find me on social media and on the internet. The easiest is evansteamutah.com, or just my name on any of the social media stuff. Dan Evans. I'm a real estate agent. We cover Wasatch Front and Wasatch Back.
And check him out on social media because he has these great videos and you get to tour all these really cool homes in the comfort of your own home. We're on the KSL Real Estate Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And today we have Dan Evans with Summit Realty. He is one of the best real estate agents in the entire state of Utah. So happy to have him as a regular on our show. Welcome back, Dan.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, you have missed a whole lot. It has been a lot of fun on the show. Go back and listen to it. It's on the KSL Radio podcast segment.
Yeah, just go to kslnewsradio.com, look for podcasts, and boom, there it is.
There you go. And today we've mainly just been talking about how real estate isn't just about buying or selling. It's about building a life, creating stability, and making smart decisions for your future. AI is now a part of that. It's a hot topic. Dan, fill us in. How's AI affecting the real estate market?
Yeah, to sum up all of what we talked about, is AI is such a useful and critical tool to help you analyze and interpret data. It does not replace human judgment. It does not replace your emotions involved in a transaction. And more important, it also isn't the communicator between parties. So I highly suggest consulting with AI based on your decision making. But oftentimes it's only as good as the prompts that you make. And I think we all think we're great prompt people, but you learn that you could be better about your prompts. So asking more nuanced questions. As an AI-enabled office, we can give you a list of prompts that are useful for you when consulting AI on your purchase.
Well, and I think it's more important than ever, not just to list your home and sit, but you need to be prepared with all of these incredible tools that are available to us. And Dan, your office is doing that, and you are right in the foxhole of all of the fun.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun. And we use it all the time. We always say we're AI-enabled agents, and I'm learning every day just about how to be a little bit better.
And I think, there's always the national headlines that are a hot topic and how that affects, but really equity is built in years and not in the headlines. So buy a home that you love, stay there. It's a great investment here in Utah. We are outpacing almost every national headline that is out there in the real estate industry. And I think that's what makes doing this radio show so fun, is it's always good news. I know Jeff does this 4 hours of live every afternoon, and he has to talk about all the hard things. And he comes in here and it's just like, this is amazing. This is so fun. We just talk about making money.
I just get to kick back. There's no script. It's wonderful.
Sunshine and roses here on the real estate show. So there you go. Dan, any final thoughts on AI?
With AI, it's a great useful tool for us. What we've heard from people is often when it comes to listings on the market or homes that are out there, oftentimes people are most interested in, and we actually saw this and we ran it through Claude, was people are most interested in what their neighbors' homes are selling for and what they have sold for. Number 2 is celebrity listings. It's just never going away. People like to know where famous people live and what they buy. I don't know what the excitement is about it, but it is what it is. And then number 3 is what's my home worth? And that was the funny thing is third on those was their own concern. Number 1 and number 2 were more outward focused. And so in today's market, if you're ever interested in information, we can always provide that for you. We always have the information for you. We sell a lot of homes off market that are either celebrity driven and or say in areas that are hard to find. And so if you're looking for something unique and special in the area, or if you have a specific demand, if you want over an acre in a wooded area, or if you want privacy, we can help you find that. We are the go-to people for people who like to have things discreet and people who like to have what they want.
The next 12 months won't be about luck. It'll be about preparation, and hiring the right real estate agent is key to be successful in this market. Like you had mentioned before, there are deals in every market. If the market's high, there's deals. If the market's low, there's deals. If interest rates are, fluctuating, who cares? There's deals to be had. Call Dan. How do people find you?
The easiest way is my number is 801-372-3512. It's 801-372-3512.
Thank you so much for joining us today. A huge thank you to Dan Evans with Summit Realty and for sharing his expertise with us. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs. And one last shout out, come pick up your Parade of Homes tickets. They're discount tickets. Mother's Day is just around the corner. You want to be the hero. Thanks again for joining us. Take care. See you next week.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, unlocking the power of Thinkorswim, the award-winning trading platforms loaded with features that let you dive deeper into the market. Visualize your trades in a new light on Thinkorswim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, all while you uncover new opportunities with up-to-the-minute market news and insights. Thinkorswim is available on desktop, web, and mobile to meet you where you are. It's built by the trading obsessed to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
For 45 years, Dish has been connecting America with the best in family TV entertainment and advanced technology at an unbeatable value. And that commitment continues with our new 45th anniversary special offer. Get the lowest price in satellite TV starting as low as $89.99 a month. In a world of rising costs and hidden fees, Dish stays transparent, reliable, and honest, just like our founders intended. Learn more by calling 888-ADD-DISH or visit dish.com. Terms and conditions apply.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm, under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.